I wanted to make sure that no one is misled by this information. First of all, my name is Maurice Scott, Maurice Jefferson Scott, Sr. And if you're going to do research on a Maurice Scott, make sure that you're researching the right person.
Everyone's talking about Maurice Scott right now because he's publicly asking Kimmi to come back. But the big question is he really sorry, or is this just him trying to fix his image? Let's take it from the top and break down everything that led to this moment. From the start, Maurice and Kimmi were seen as the steady, mature couple on Love and Marriage Huntsville. Unlike some couples on reality TV, they didn't constantly fight or air every problem on camera. In the early days, they gave off a calm, composed energy. Kimmi seemed like the strong, level-headed partner, and Maurice positioned himself as the career-driven husband who prioritized his family. On paper, it looked balanced, like a couple that had it together. But over time, fans started noticing a pattern. The dynamic began to feel one-sided. Kimmi seemed to be carrying most of the emotional...
Get 100. And before you get on social media, TV, YouTube, talking about what you think you know, maybe reach out to the people that you're about to talk about and ask maybe if it's true or not, because it can land you in trouble when you speak of people that's not true.
And household load. She was managing the home, helping Maurice co-parent, supporting his ambitions, taking care of her own child, and still being there for everyone else around her. Meanwhile, Maurice often seemed caught up in his own life, focusing on his law career, coaching his son or sticking to his own plans without pausing to check in on Kimmi. When she did try to share how she felt, it often seemed like she had to justify her emotions just to be heard. Things really changed when Kimmi faced serious health challenges. She bravely shared her breast cancer diagnosis publicly, and fans admired her strength. But behind the scenes, it became clear that something was off. During moments when Kimmi was clearly exhausted or emotional, Maurice often appeared distant, not mean or harsh, but emotionally detached. It wasn't just about being physically present. It was about being emotionally available. When she needed to talk, he sometimes tried to solve problems instead of listening. When she needed comfort, he responded with logic rather than
saying that this is all the reason. But True T has really done an amazing thing for Miss Black Titanic, and I appreciate that. And it's always good to see creators supporting other creators. But child, y'all go over there and listen to this, because this right here is the clown of the year, baby.
Empathy. Over time, this created an invisible wall between them. The kind where nothing is openly said, but the emotional distance is palpable. For Kimmi, who was fighting cancer and enduring surgeries, chemotherapy, fatigue, and emotional ups and downs, that silence was crushing. Private sources close to production said that Kimmi often withdrew into herself, not because she wanted space from Maurice, but because it hurt too much to feel ignored while sitting next to him. She reportedly confided in friends that she felt lonelier in her marriage than she ever did when she was single. Fans started picking up on signs. 2. Kimmi was no longer wearing her wedding ring in social media posts. Birthday shoutouts and anniversary photos were missing. Meanwhile, Maurice's posts were all about real estate or motivational speaking, nothing about his wife or her health journey. Social media users
saying nobody knows what I did when I left, and nobody knows what he did when he left. It's speculation.
Began asking, is Kimmi going through this alone? From the outside, it looked like the woman who had always been there for everyone else was now facing the toughest time in her life, without the support of the one person who should have been there first. That lack of emotional presence wasn't just disappointing. It was damaging. It eroded trust, connection, and intimacy, the foundation of any marriage. Eventually, Kimmi quietly pulled back. She stopped responding like she used to, no more checking in, no more emotionally covering for him, no more managing the gaps in his awareness. That's when Maurice started reaching out in ways that felt desperate. Late-night calls, long voicemails, random texts saying, "Just talk to me," and even showing up unannounced at her home. Sources say this wasn't casual missing you energy, it was panic. It seemed like he realized too late that the support he had always relied on was gone. He even called mutual friends and family, asking them to convince
A lot that you guys didn't see. However, in the moment that I acted, I was acting to protect the situation, protect my brother from further harm.
Kimmi to speak with him. Eventually, she had to set firm boundaries, asking him to stop appearing without warning. The tipping point came when a leaked voicemail surfaced. In it, Maurice's voice was raw and shaky, filled with emotion. He admitted that he hadn't shown up the way Kimmi needed, but he insisted he never stopped loving her. He told her he would respect her decision if walking away was what she needed, but he begged her to speak with him one more time. The reaction from fans was mixed. Some felt he was being vulnerable and genuine, admitting where he had failed. Others saw it as damage control, pointing out how absent he had been during her health crisis and suggesting that Kimmi only walked away because she finally found the strength to do so. Then came an Instagram live video that added another layer. Maurice appeared shaken and emotional, explaining that he wasn't doing it for the cameras. He admitted that watching Kimmi leave made him realize how much she had carried emotionally for both of them. He confessed that he didn't always know how to communicate his feelings, and he acknowledged the grace and patience Kimmi had shown him. He didn't go into every detail about their split, but he said something that struck many viewers. "I didn't deserve her grace, and I sure didn't earn her silence." And just when people thought they'd seen his most vulnerable moment, he shared a letter he had written to her, pouring out his feelings, regrets, and hope for reconciliation. It was raw, heartfelt, and for some, painfully real. For others, it felt like one more move to save face. In the end, the story of Maurice and Kimmi isn't just about a breakup, it's about the slow erosion of emotional connection, the weight of unshared burdens, and the consequences of taking someone's presence for granted. It's a reminder that love and support aren't just about being physically there, they're about being present, listening, and sharing the emotional load. And when that disappears, even the strongest relationships can struggle to survive. Things took an even bigger turn when Maurice revealed a ring that immediately set the internet buzzing. During the same Instagram live, he pulled out a handwritten letter he said he wrote the night Kimmi left. He didn't read the whole thing, but the lines he shared hit fans hard. One of them went something like, "I thought being strong meant holding it together. But maybe real strength is admitting, I was wrong before you walk away." He explained that the ring wasn't meant as a proposal, but as a symbol of starting over, trying to leave behind old patterns and make a fresh beginning. Then came the biggest surprise. Maurice offered to quit love and Marriage Huntsville completely. He said that if the cameras were causing stress or adding pressure to their marriage, he would step away from the show that had helped make his name. "I'd trade visibility for peace with her in a second," he said. Kimmi didn't respond publicly during the live, and she didn't feed into the emotional wave online. But a few days later, she quietly posted an Instagram story, a simple photo of a cup of tea with the caption, "Peace feels different when you earn it." It was subtle, but fans read between the lines. Then came the next moment that got people talking, a lunch sighting. Fans spotted Kimmi having a low-key meal with Maurice in Huntsville. It seemed like a possible reunion, and many began to root for them to reconcile. But just when the story seemed headed for a hopeful turn, someone completely unexpected entered the picture: Shayla. Her arrival changed everything. Shayla claimed to be Maurice's mistress and came forward with screenshots, texts, and voice notes that painted a very different picture than what fans had been seeing online. According to her, Maurice was far from faithful, while Kimmi was dealing with the hardest period of her life. The messages Shayla shared reportedly showed Maurice talking about his struggles at home and the emotional difficulties he was facing in his marriage. In one text, he allegedly wrote, "I'm stuck between the woman I love and a life I'm not ready to leave behind." Critics immediately noted how it sounded like he was playing the victim. There was also a voice note, about 3 minutes long, where Maurice could be heard laughing and whispering into the phone about a recent getaway with Shayla. The timing of these conversations matched up with the public gestures Maurice had made toward Kimmi: the ring, the letter, and the Instagram live apology, making fans question his sincerity. Shayla said she didn't want attention, but that she felt compelled to expose the truth behind Maurice's public display of love and regret. She explained that while Maurice portrayed himself as a heartbroken, devoted husband on social media, he allegedly lived a very different reality in private. The timeline made the situation even messier. Around the same time Maurice was sending public apologies and love letters to Kimmi, he allegedly sent messages to Shayla expressing desire, affection, and frustration over not being able to be with her. Fans started piecing it together and realizing that while he appeared heartbroken online, he may have been living a double life. Maurice and his team responded quickly. A statement was posted claiming Shayla's allegations were false and motivated by bitterness and attention-seeking. Maurice himself shared an Instagram post calling the situation unfortunate but denying any wrongdoing. He emphasized his love for Kimmi, saying he was focused on personal growth and hoping they could resolve things privately. However, Shayla's credibility complicated matters. She has a history of speaking out in high-profile situations and even shared social media posts that placed her with Maurice, at times conflicting with his claims of devotion to Kimmi. Meanwhile, Kimmi remained silent. She hasn't publicly commented